Welcome to The Art Will Not Be Changing. I haven't done it that way before, and I did the glasses slow this time instead of fast. You know, you got these great actors out there, but then there's me. And who am I? That's a good question. When we think about the immensity of the universe, no, that's not where I'm going with this. I'm Christian De Matteo, co-founder of Fugitive Poems Comics, and I'm a little drunk. It's my birthday. And I've been preparing for this with a marathon of intoxication all day. Why? Because my birthday present is the greatest guest I could possibly imagine. And if you've been on this show previously or you're going to be on this show, forget I said that. But it's true. Folks, as always, if you order from fugitivepoems.com during the airing of this show, you could get Blood Valkyrie, the story of a young lady who goes to a party that turns into a satanic blood orgy. Or you can get River, the story of a drug dealer who gets his hands on a time machine and proceeds to bend the universe over a table. Or you could get Containment Breach Volume 2, Myth Reborn, where the greatest indie creators around the world in a 162-page book turn mythology on its head. Or, wait, there's more. You could get Containment Breach Volume 3, where sci-fi meets grindhouse. 172 pages of unbelievable comics from the greatest indie creators around the world, including myself and Fugitive Poems co-founder James Lyons. I'm looking for a place in my messy office to put that. There we go. If you order right now, you will get the parental advisory stickers and the awesome Fugitive Poems sticker, which my son stole from my office, the one that I usually show. But it was created by the great Evan Knapp, who says, "Yes, you are," which I'm assuming is in reference to my awesomeness and not my drunkenness. David Katz says, "Happy birthday, sucker." Well, it is my birthday. It is my birthday. I am 23 years old, which you can tell by the gray highlights I put in my hair. You know, it's going to be great 20s for me. That didn't happen 2 decades ago. So, without further ado, and there's going to be more ado, I am bringing up, first of all, when James and I got into making indie comics, we did so utterly blindly. We had no idea what we were doing. And my friend Doug Wood helped us, guided us in, as did my dear friend who I've never met in person, Frankie White, really showed us the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Frankie White. How you doing, Frankie White?
Hey, I'm doing well. Happy birthday. I've got a drink for you as well.
Thank you. Oh, what do you got there? It looks like whiskey.
It is whiskey. You said bring whiskey, so I brought whiskey. It is Hibiki, Japanese whiskey.
Oh, Hibiki is so crazy good. My buddy and our senior editor, Mark, got me drinking that, and it is incredible.
I got lucky that it was on sale.
Oh, man, it is so good. Evan says, awesomeness, go, Matteo. We got happy birthday, Christian, from Claudio, and surprised to see you sober. Well, you're not. So we got Frankie White. And here's the thing. It was supposed to be me and Frankie White tonight because I didn't dare dream. I didn't dare hope. I didn't dare birthday wish that I could also get Frankie's amazing partner in crime, Adam MARKIEWICZ, on. And Adam, correct me if I said your last name wrong. I meant to ask you in the green room. He's gone, folks. Adam has left the building. Adam, are you there? No, he left. So, folks, you gotta forgive the avatar on the screen. Adam is currently going through a very messy werewolf transformation and cannot appear live with us. I cannot wait to talk about all this. There's such cool shit going on. So I've been a fan. Frankie put out 25th a couple of years ago. Was this COVID release? When was it?
Oh man, I started working on that, I think in 2018, and we released it through Kickstarter 2018, 2019. And then, yeah, I think it was COVID when it got released through SourcePoint. It was 2020, I believe.
So I discovered, look at that. I love that cover. I love that cover.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered 25th and was blown away. Frankie's writing, Frankie's imagination is just unbelievable. And this story, which is sort of like The Warriors, it's totally different. It's got its own vibe, and Frankie, I was totally taken with that. And then you put out Starless Daydream, which is what? Tell me about Starless Daydream.
So that was a COVID project for sure. That came out. I started working on that it was like January at the beginning of the year. I was working on a short, and then COVID happened, and I was like, screw it, we're turning this into a whole thing. So what it is it's like a 64-page zine, basically, where I worked with 30 plus artists, and they all did different pages and everything. And it tells what is essentially the finale to a mech anime that never existed. So if you read it, it's basically like walking into the end of a 52 episode Gundam series. I worked with like 30 plus amazing artists. Adam included is in that. And it was basically just like all throughout COVID, just kind of piecing together who was available, when they could work, finding a slot that fit for them. And it was like a fun puzzle piece to put together.
And folks, so Fugitive Poems, one of our goals is to raise the flags of all these great indie creators out there. And Frankie has been on that for years. And our friend John Jack is in here. There's all these great creators that Frankie gave an opportunity to get their art in there. But Frankie, I got to ask you, this concept of an anime that was never made, what brought that about?
Well, it literally starts from the fact that I'm a simp for Gundam. I love Mobile Suit Gundam, the whole franchise. And so I wanted to do a mech story. The problem, though, is to do a mech story right. They're typically very long. They run forever. There's not, in the comics industry, you're not going to see a mech series, in indie comics. And if you do, it's going to be a manga, and it runs like 18 volumes minimum. It's thousands of pages. So this was kind of my way of how can I do this, but honestly thinking within a budget, right? Like how can I get a story told within 64-ish pages, right? Where I could tell you everything you need to know about the universe and jam it full of, pinups and sequential pages and character bios and, journal logs written not only by me, but other indie writers and stuff like that. So that was like the thrust behind it. Was like, I wanted to do a mech story, did not have the time or financial backing to do like a full, magnum opus, so to speak. And so I was like, this is my next best path forward, is doing something a little creative.
And a little creative is absurd for you to say. That's the thing about Frankie, is that your ideas are way out there, and you make them work. Now you're saying that Adam is in this. Adam, is this the first time that you worked with Frankie on Starless Daydream, or had you worked with him before? I didn't know that, and that really fascinates me.
This could be a fun bit.
A great way to look at this.
It is not. I'll answer for Adam. I don't hear him, so I'm going to answer for him. I have worked with Adam since Broken Bear, which was the first thing we worked on together. That came out in 2017. What is
Broken Bear?
Broken Bear is a dark fantasy graphic novel that tells the story of a squire who is presented with the opportunity to basically steal the knight that she squires for, his like abilities and strength, but she has to kill him to do it. And then it's all about the repercussions of that action from that point on. So you have this little shit squire who does something terrible to get great power, and now in a dark Spider-Man like twist, right, has to learn how to deal with it, but doesn't have the responsibility yet to deal with it properly.
Where did this come from?
Again, similar thing to Starless Daydream. I love fantasy. Grew up reading Lord of the Rings, and and then obviously Game of Thrones came out. I was a huge fan of that. Big fan of fantasy, and I wanted to do a dark fantasy story, and that really starts from a genre I want to work in, and that's literally where we go from.
So I know, and I've taken a number of your book recommendations, like The Devourers.
The book's amazing.
I know that you're a big reader. Do you have favorite dark fantasy authors?
No, not particularly for dark fantasy. That's something where like I've grown up reading it. Same with horror. I don't have like favorites. Like I'll just read anything that's in that genre.
No Lloyd Alexander?
Yeah, no, nothing super particular. I'll tell you a particular book I really like that is in that genre. That's a newer book. Came out like, well, not newer now, I guess it's like maybe 10 years old, but Between Two Fires. By I think the author's name is Chris Buckman or Buellman. I can't remember, and I apologize to him.
Okay.
It is set in the Dark Ages during the plague, but it's also kind of like a dark fantasy, even though it's set in like our world. That's a fantastic book. If you like that era, like the plague era, right? It's can't recommend that one.
If you like the plague era, it was a great time. I actually screwed that up, and I read the sequel first, Between Two Ferns by Zach Galifianakis, and it didn't make any sense, frankly, at that point. Christian takes a sip of beer, and he starts hearing voices. It's God talking to me, and he's not pleased. Shit Squire, Evan wants to know.
Yeah, terrible at her job. And that's how she gets up where she's supposed to be. You got to start shit and make yourself better.
Absolutely, and there's nowhere to go but up.
Exactly.
So I was telling you backstage that I've been sending out a shit ton of short stories, and I recently discovered that because I'm not a genre, I shouldn't say I'm not a genre guy. I'm not a faithful genre guy. Everything I write is a mash of a million different things because that's what's cool for the story. And I found out that what I write is called transgressive fiction. And I was thinking about you, and I'm like, well, if anyone is transgressive, it's Frankie, and Lord knows Adam makes that happen. So I've got right here one of my favorite things you've done: Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, which as a practicing Catholic was very exciting for me because it's so transgressive. And there was, you got into it. You didn't get into it. You were very classy about it. Someone online was trying to challenge you that this was offensive. And it was like, dude, read some fiction and chill out. And if you read this, and I can show this page because on YouTube, you're not supposed to show nudity. I found that out the hard way. I was very proud of anyway. But look these pages, and you did something really cool here. And Adam made it happen, and Adam's gone, so we'll never know. But you decided to go with a cinematic presentation. The way that Alan Moore and David Gibbons do Watchmen, and Hellboy From Hell, where every page is 9 panels, right? Mm-hmm. You did every page in a cinematic 3 widescreen view. Tell me a little bit about the decision that led to that. Actually, forget that. Tell me first about what Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood is, and then we'll get there.
Okay. So Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, which is by me, Adam Markiewicz, and then our colorist, AHG, who first worked with us on Broken Bear, and we were able to work with him on this again. He's an incredible, you saw those pages. He's an amazing, like everything he does is like painting, which I love. For Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, this really stemmed from the fact that both me and Adam are huge movie people, and we wanted to do something that was something in the vein of movie like while still being in the realm of comics, right? You know, because there's unfortunately the bad trait of like, you hear people that are like, they get into comics because they couldn't get into movies, or they get into comics because they want to get into movies. Like, it's kind of aping on that and taking that and turning it literal and going like, if you run the 3 pages or the 3 panels over and over and over again, it creates that film reel effect of you just reading down 3 panels, reading down 3 panels. So if you put it in like a webtoon format, it's going to read like a reel going down the page, right? You know, if you're just reading in a PDF starting from the top and going down, yeah, it's like a reel flickering. So the story behind that, though, is us wanting to do something that was filmic, using our inspirations and our love of horror and Grindhouse, specifically John Carpenter, and Giallo, and doing something in that vein. And like you said, trying to do something that felt transgressive, but also was us. So it's a story about a couple who are, you know, they're happy, they're together, and the guy, John, gets a letter from his father, who is they've not talked in like a decade, and he's asking him to come back home and see him. So he brings his fiance with him, Lisa, to go meet the family, and they meet at church, and it descends into chaos and madness from that point on. Cults, cannibalism, you know, nakedness, like you said, a lot of nudity in it. And we had to run that on a tight 50-something page timeline based on the budget we got from Dauntless for that. And so it was kind of fun to see how much we could cram into a short amount of space.
Yeah, and you did it, and you somehow avoided the temptation of doing a splash page anywhere. You were religious, to use a pun, about sticking to this concept. Adam, are you there?
He said in the chat he can hear me, but he can't hear you, and so that might be why. That's
bizarre. I'm sorry. Can you ask? This is like divorced parents. Or yeah,
I'm going to mediate.
We're at the table and we ask, can you ask your father to pass the salt? Adam, Frankie, can you ask Adam what it was like sticking to this 3-panel per page format for Eat My Flesh?
Yeah, Adam, what was it like sticking to the 3-panel per page format for Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood? Did you enjoy that experience?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear Christian?
No.
Okay. That's why I asked you the question. I'm mediating for you guys.
Okay. All right. What was the question?
Did you enjoy doing the 3-panel per page format for Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood? What did you get out of that? Was it an interesting experience for you?
Yeah, well, because as you said, we both are huge fans of movies, and I actually, for most of my teenage years, wanted to be a film director. To me, it was sort of a chance to in a weird way, try that. Of you know, could I frame things as a movie is framed, and not, you know, have varying size panels to tell the story with. I don't think I want to do it again. but I did enjoy it. I don't know. I'd probably do it if it came up. I'd probably end up doing it again.
It would be fun to do it again for something. It's short. Yeah. Again, another short one. You wouldn't want to do it for like 200 pages because you get locked into that groove. But for like another 50-page story, it'd be fun to do something like that again. Maybe we'll do 3x4 or 4x3 frame. We'll change the frame up so it's different.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you ask your mother to pass the pepper? Can you ask Adam? This is fascinating, actually. What the biggest challenge was of keeping it to the 3 panels each, and did he ever desperately want to break out of it?
What was the biggest challenge for doing the 3-panel per page format for you? Were you ever tempted to break out of it, even though my script said 3 panels per page?
No, because I would have done it anyway. But part of the reason I wanted to do it was
Oh, he's cutting out on
Honestly,
us.
what I like,
Yeah, you were breaking up, Adam.
I don't know what's going on here.
This werewolf transformation is really an all-encompassing situation, and we have to be understanding.
You know, I'm gonna go off for a second. I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
Very good. So Eat My Flesh, one of the other challenges was the sheer, and by the way, folks, if you look in the commentary right now, I put Dauntless Comics is putting out badass shit, and some of the badass shit they're putting out is Frankie and Adams. You can get Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, which you want. This is a read. I've read this several times. I love it. You can go to that link and get it right now, and it's going to be really important in a minute, and we'll talk about that. But the nudity, that was a challenge you decided to put on yourself. Why?
Part of it was like you said, just being transgressive. Me and Adam are both very open to nudity. I feel like recently, and I don't want to put words in Adam's mouth, but I think he'll agree with me on this, is like we're entering a very puritanical age again, especially in America, where that kind of stuff, just expression of the human body, is sort of a no-no, right? And so just having the opportunity where, first of all, Dauntless was cool with it, where like we were going to work on this project, and I was like, here's the script. It's 50-something pages. The first half, they're all wearing clothes. The second half, everyone's naked. That's part of it. They all got to be naked. I wanted it to just do something that, like, when you get to that page flip, you kind of have that moment of like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like what is this? Like, what's going on? Which is what our main character, Lisa, is going through in that moment. And the reason why they're all naked, you know, there's reasons for it. They got to do a lot of cleanup. They don't want to have clothes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that it's integral to integral. I was told by James and Mark recently that I've been saying it the British way. Integral. It's integral to the plot. So we put out this Blood Valkyrie in Vegas, which Frankie checked out early, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a 2-page orgy spread in here. And I mean, I listen, I like to shock and awe, but I also am a writer. I want everything to tie together. And this was important to me. I was thinking about the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch, and I wanted 3 2-page spreads, which were done like the Garden of Eden painting that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And that went from good to horrendous. And the last 2-page spread is demons just slow orgy participants, right? And I when I read Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, I was like, this is genius. It's not exploitive. Well, it is in the best ways, but it's not exploitive for the purposes of that. The story, it's all justified by the story, as opposed to sex scenes in 80s and 90s movies, right? This needs to be in there for practical reasons, as you're saying, and also for these deeper reasons. And yes, we are getting more puritanical. Christian is obsessed with splash pages. So Claudio just dealt with that. We just sent our comic She Summoned Stars that Claudio knocked out of the park, and Tom Line killer lettered it to Heavy Metal Magazine, and he knows that I was insistent about the splash page. He also says, didn't Darwin Cook do 3 panels for New Frontier? And I'm not.
I've not read New Frontier.
I'm not as versed in Darwin Cook as I should be, folks. What we're talking about right now is Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, and the link is right there in the chat. So you do this comic, and you put this girl, the wife, through an in-law hell that most of us who may have feelings about our in-laws would never even suspect could be this deep. The story ends like a bell ringing. It's unbelievable. And then you go on, and oh, he's back. I didn't see him. I'm sorry. Adam, you're back. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay! Woo! The werewolf transformation is complete.
Excellent. Now he's got the sonar hearing. So, Adam, I'm a college professor, and all the other professors complain in the building that while they're teaching, they can hear me and their students are listening to me. And several of them have come to me and complained, and I'm like, well, you should be louder. So when you couldn't hear me, I was boggled. I figured you could hear me just through the ether in your home. You and Frankie get together on Broken Bear. You do eat my flesh. Adam, tell me a little bit about Frankie coming to you about who killed Sarah Shaw, which, by the way, I was going to show that as well. I realized that my copy is up in my bedroom, and I'm not going to tell you why because it's none of your business. But what was it? What did it feel like when Frankie proposed Who Killed Sarah Shaw?
Actually, I read his synopsis, and the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh, this has got like a little bit of Twin Peaks in it, and I really like Twin Peaks, so I was like, yeah, I'm in.
That's it. It's as easy as that.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, I mean,
that's like with us with everything, Adam. You have an idea, or I have an idea, and I feel like it's just like, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
yeah. We've just kind of gotten to that point where, you know, if he comes to me, he's like, yeah, you're going to draw this. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Adam, what speaks to you about Frankie's writing? Why is that the vibe?
Well, I like the characters. He you know, there's a lot of good characters to draw. You know, that's a big part of it. Even with something like Who Killed Sarah Shaw or Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, where it's all just kind of normal people. There's a lot of talk about what they should look like and you know, varying types of people and so that's kind of it. I actually don't read ahead with his. I mean, I have an idea of where they're going, but I don't really read ahead in terms. I mean, he's sometimes about where I am.
I was going to say that partially is due to me not having the script actually done.
But I think Broken Bear, you had all of it pretty much written.
Yeah.
And I was just doing, you know, kind of a couple pages at a time, and that's how I was reading it. I was like, it's actually partly why I don't go back and read books I've worked on, because that's how I work on them, is I kind of am getting the story as I go.
Okay, so that doesn't trouble you? Do you ever go back once you know something and put in foreshadowing, or is it just, are you doing this just on the stream?
No, I mean, if there's something that sort of needs to be put in, then Frankie will tell me, like, this needs to be kind of.
Yeah, and that's how the script is too, honestly. It's like sometimes there are things that happen organically when we're writing, you know, when we're working on a part of the story, and I'm like, oh shoot, Adam, we need to go back into like this page and change this line of dialogue or add in a little thing here or there, you know, because some things you don't have in your outline, right? You know, and
sure,
the way that we work a lot, especially with a lot of the newer stuff, I like to say it's like Adam's the train and I'm laying the train tracks down, and I'm just trying to stay one track in front of his train because I feel like that keeps everything feeling fresh and organic. I don't want to do like 40 passes on a script before Adam sees it, because a lot of times, like, I feel like Adam, as he draws stuff, it will inspire me to change things around in the script. So if I have a locked idea of what I want it to be, I can't do that, you know, as I'm getting pages. It's harder to do that. So I have a loose outline for the whole story typically, but the script itself is like a living being that's getting updated on the fly. Like, you know, for example, for our new project, I Just Came From Hell, you know, I'm maybe like 4 pages ahead of Adam on the script right now, like where he's at with the art, and we just work like that.
How often does something he does artistically tweak the script for you?
Oh, all the time. I mean, Who Killed Sarah Shaw had a ton of character stuff that, like, he'll draw a character a certain way and it'll make me go like, I need to know more about them. You know, like originally they might have been like, Like, for example, in Who Killed Sarah Shaw, there's a character named Josie who is only in a brief scene or two, but originally she was just going to be like a one panel moment in chapter 2. And the way he drew her in that scene, I was just like, nah, I kind of want to know more about who this person is in this moment, because the moment's really ugly. And I don't know if it feels right to just leave this person now who I have a visual of only known in this one moment. Let's like give her some more. And so like later on in chapter 4, I think it is, she comes back and has like an extended scene with our, intrepid content creators.
Hey, so as you're talking, I'm going through the pages of Who Killed Sarah Shaw, which I couldn't do with Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood on YouTube, which means you should order it immediately. And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm looking at the absolute character in the faces, these three-dimensional people that you create, Adam. How much of this do you take from Frankie's script, and then what do you add? Where do you get what you add from it? These characters are emotive. How do you pull that out to put in your art?
Well, I mean, actually, what's funny is I feel like I missed the boat a little on the faces with that book. I got a little too focused on trying to get realistic faces because I'm thinking, oh, it's a sort of true crime sort of thing, but that's the whole thing that I don't need to go into. In terms of how they act and stuff, I mean, it's really just that comes down to the script and to the moment, and sometimes even that I think I'm winging it and hoping it passes because I'm not the best person at creating the script sometimes. I think Frankie knows that too, that I sometimes skip parts.
As a writer, you just crushed me. But every word I wrote was absolutely essential.
Oh, and that's like the thing. I don't know. It's different. If you looked at my scripts, they're as far from an Alan Moore script as possible. Like, generally speaking, especially when I'm working with Adam, because we share the same brain wave now for the most part. Like, I don't need to give incredibly detailed panel descriptions, unless if I'm trying to get something very specific I know I want to see, like in a certain panel. Like, a lot of times I can just trust Adam's artistic instincts, and skill to do a scene. Like this panel you're looking on right now, like if you went and looked at the script page, it's not going to say like front facing shot, like they're coming at the camera. Like it's going to be like, Tiffany's running with the ball, and then I'll focus on the dialogue. Like a lot of my scripts,
it was really the script for this, especially this sequence, it was really just the specific actions, not really much,
right.
Not angles, not anything. I think maybe it'll, there'll be close up if it's something, a detail that needs to be shown, but not like down angle. This kind of, it's not none of that really. And also, Frankie sees all the pencils, so he's getting, he sees the whole process. So, if there's anything I'm getting wrong, he lets me know.
So I'm looking at this panel right now. Oh, by the way, Sabina says Shonda Rhimes in her book of Year of Yes talks about writing TV as laying tracks. And
if Shonda says it, let's go. We're on the right track.
There you go, the right track. And Evan says just like Charo on the Love Boat. So I'm looking at this panel right now, folks. I was just talking about Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood. It is a gory, violent extravaganza, but it is not just that. And it's effective and affecting because the characters matter. And that is Frankie's writing. And that is Adam's artwork. If you look at this panel that I've got on the screen right now, this is not the panel that would be on the advertising for anything, right? And yet it is full of humanity, empathy, emotion. And when shit goes down, you're going to care about these characters. Where do you, Adam, where do you get your your faces from? Where how do you, what's your process for making these people look so individual?
I actually cast my characters.
Okay.
So, like I think some people have even pointed out that Jess in this looks a lot like Aubrey Plaza, and it's
Nothing
based
wrong
on
with
Aubrey
that.
Plaza. Um, for this book in particular, for a lot of the characters, because we were going to see them as old and young, I tried to pick actors that had been around young in the 80s and who were around now, so I could have the kind of two versions. And although with some of them, like Sarah's father, uh, I think the young version I based on John Goodman, like a young John
Ah,
Goodman,
Mm-hmm.
but the old version is just not not him at all. I mean, he's bald and like rail thin. And
so I just stopped on this panel because I've been showing this everyday stuff that you draw, and you draw with such energy and visceral emotion that we get to this, right? This is the money shot. This is the exciting part, right? It feels it completely in tone, in tune with your previous art, and we care. This is not a slasher flick. And Frankie, you brought up Jalos, and I'm a huge fan of Jalos, right? These you're earning these kills, though. You're earning this emotion. And Frankie, I know from your writing that it's in there. And Adam, I am awed by the way that you make this come out on the page. What an incredible team. You guys are absolutely killing it. And so we've got Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, which, folks, you got to get. We've got, hold on, let me copy a link for you people. You people, hold on. We've got at barnesandnoble.com, and it's available on Amazon as well. Who Killed Sarah Shaw? In the link. You want it. Why do you want it? Because it's great. Because it's amazing. Because this is what's happening in comics. Because Frankie and Adam are fucking amazing. But you want it because you want to read the third book. These are two separate stories. Frankie, you're putting out a third book, and it's only called the third book because you somehow connected Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, and Who Killed Sarah Shaw. Where the fuck did that come from?
Two things. It came from one, I felt like when we did Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, we left a lot sort of on the cutting room floor, so to speak, using film terms, right? Because we originally were supposed to script 66 pages for it. And then as we started working on it, we got a budget cut. And so we had to chop like 10 pages off of it. And it just felt like there was more we could get out of that, more of those characters that we didn't get to explore, more for Lisa, and John and his family and what their cult, how the cult operates. A lot of the book is very much like in the moment, right? You're in the moment the whole time. There's no backstory really or anything like that. So I wanted to explore a lot of that. And then Who Killed Sarah Shaw, we finished it. And I particularly wasn't ready to say like goodbye to Jess and Dave, who are our content creators, who are trying to figure out who killed Sarah Shaw in that graphic novel. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to them yet. And I kicked around ideas with Adam, nothing like concrete, but just saying like, what if we just did like another story with them where they do a different, cold case mystery that they're trying to solve. And so this one lined up where I'm like, what if we could combine the fantastic gore, grindhouse, romantic horror of Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood with the more down-to-earth Who Killed Sarah Shaw true crime and mesh them together and try and make something that feels really unique where we are living in this world of these comics. You're living in a world where Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood could happen, but is it happening like it happens in the film adaptation of that story? So I Just Came From Hell is operating as like a semi-sequel to both of those books. It's not a direct sequel to Who Killed Sarah Shaw because that case is closed at the end of that, So it's following Jess and Dave and what's going on with them after that book. and it's following what happens to Lisa after I Just Came From Hell, but it's allowing us to take bits and pieces from Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood and say, like, yes, this is what we think actually happened. This maybe was, grandiose, like, reimagining of what happened. And so it's not going to be a one for one. Like when you read Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood and then see scenes in I Just Came From Hell, they're not going to be one for one because it's not actually a direct sequel to Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood. It's Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood is like the film adaptation of what Lisa went through in real life.
This is a wild idea. And I find myself thinking about, do you know the author John Knowles? He did an incredible, he did a separate piece, which absolutely ruined my childhood in when I had to read it. But he wrote a book. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. I'm so annoyed. But he was playing with this idea of what we say happened, what really happened, and that interplay of fiction in between. Because people don't think about how much fiction there is in our lives. They're doing these incredible brain studies now about memory and just how much our minds and emotions tweak what really happened. Right, you take Rashomon by Akira Kurosawa. The idea that several people see the same event and they remember it differently, and neuroscientists now are like, yeah, dude, you see an event and then you remember it differently because your emotions play on it, your neural pathways widen for certain aspects, and the baggage that you bring changes the way that you view it. And as time passes, you see it differently than it really happened. And it's really incredible what you're playing with here. Adam, he comes to you. You did Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood. You did Who Killed Sarah Shaw. And they're two separate entities. And Frankie's like, so I want to put them together and fuck with the narrative. Where are you on that?
I'm in, like, immediately. That wasn't even a question.
What excited you about it?
I loved that idea of Eat My Flesh being this movie version of what had really happened, and also I kind of like Frankie. I wasn't really done with Jess and Dave. I was happy to kind of be coming back to them, and but I love that idea of doing a sequel that's not a sequel, that's also a sequel to another thing, just with the same characters, but not continuing that story. It's just the weirdness of how it all connects. And
yeah, they're really like three individual stories that you can choose to read all three of them and you'll get a clearer picture of everything if you want, or you can just pick one. If you're not into the, gory grindhouse side of Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood, well, Who Killed Sarah Shaw is a more down-to-earth, true crime-esque, narrative that Christian plays into a lot of what you were just talking about. The way the story is written is all of the chapters focus on a person who is a potential suspect in Sarah Shaw's murder. And they're telling these content creators their story that relates to Sarah Shaw. But when we go back and we see their stories, it's always through their words. You're never in a moment in the past where you're seeing something and it's saying objectively, this is what happened. It's always, this is what this person is saying what happened. And we're asking the reader to make a decision. The title is a call to action. It's asking the reader at the end, who killed her? You tell us who you think killed her.
Yeah.
And we'll never tell you if you're right or wrong, but maybe you can have a book club about it, right? And you can spout your theories off, right? And see what compels you to think that way, because we wrote the characters in such a way where hopefully, everyone's got their own biases and way they perceive people. They might see someone and be like, oh, it was that guy. He's a fucking weirdo. But that's not actually a reason that someone might be a murderer. So doing that and then taking that and just pushing it one step further with I Just Came From Hell and doing that with Lisa's story, but now getting to play in a world where maybe what happened to Lisa happened. Maybe it didn't. maybe it did in a different way than it appears in the first book. And, you know, having that fun play out. And we're about to get to a really juicy scene on the Patreon that I'm excited to share.
So having friends who've gotten divorced, right? And talking to my wife about it and whatnot, the thing that we always come back to is you'll never, only the people in a marriage know the true story of what happened. And they only know their side of it.
Yes.
No matter how well you're connected to your partner. And so I love this idea of Lisa's version of the story when it could just be an I hate my in-laws story. I mean, it's not that blank, but your perception of your in-laws versus your partner's perception of their parents. What really went down and how much of a horror show is it? Sabina suggested A Stolen Past as a book title, but it turns out I'm an idiot. And I was confusing Jonathan Knowles with John Fowles. And what I was thinking of was The French Lieutenant's Woman, which is an incredible novel that they made a really cool movie of. And what they did in the novel, Fowles, I did it again, plays around with the tale, with the how he's telling the story, and he has the characters pop out and tell their own. And in the movie, what they did to match that was they had the actors pop out as playing the parts before going back into the parts. And I love that you're playing with this idea of perspective. Claudio says that his neural pathways are shot because of all maybe I should not mention it. And Claudio, I've known you for a little while, and I will also not mention the illicit sex in Area 51. Claudio says, what a cool concept. I love it. And I've got this incredible relationship with James, the co-founder of Fugitive Poems, where we bounce ideas off each other. We have the same ideas at times, and we just go nuts on. And you've got that with Adam. Adam, do you have a dream project, your own idea that you'd like? You don't have to give it away here, but is there something that you want to throw to Frankie?
Well, the dream project of mine is the other comic I do on my Patreon, Trenchcoat Samurai.
Say it again. Trenchcoat Samurai?
Trenchcoat Samurai.
Which is badass, dude.
That's been one. I mean, I've sort of done versions of it in the past, but what I'm doing now is like, this is what I wanted to do for a very long time. And I didn't want Frankie to have it. So
that's fair. We don't have to share everything.
This one is mine, motherfucker.
He does actually. He's listed as, I think, editor. Is it story editor or editor that I've been putting you as?
Adam, tell us about Trenchcoat Samurai and where we can find it. If you want to put that in the chat, what is Trenchcoat Samurai? Is it like a Japanese guy that flashes people? What do we got?
Well, that would be an interesting version. No, it's a wandering samurai who, believe it or not, is dressed in a trench coat. Arrives in a small, affluent southwestern Connecticut city, and he sees evil in the area and decides to stick around and see what's going on. And you're sort of wondering, is he crazy? Is he really seeing this stuff? And he in this will meet a local police officer who herself starts questioning, what she's seeing and all that. And, there's ninja fights. There's gratuitous nudity a couple of times.
Romance, comedy. It's funny too.
Yeah. I try to put some comedic. I mean, it's about a guy who dresses as a samurai with a trench coat. It can't take itself too seriously. I've tried to sort of describe it as John Carpenter's They Live meets Yojimbo meets Blue Velvet.
All right, you're just naming all my favorite things. So you're just buttering me up here. I love it. John Carpenter's come up twice. I just had the proudest moment. I showed my almost 14-year-old and my 8-year-old The Thing, and Oh yeah, and they loved it. And that's after showing them Big Trouble in Little China, which they went nuts for. So hell yeah. Adam, I want to read. Let's say I don't know about Trenchcoat Ninja Samurai. Wow, I just changed your whole concept. Where can I find it?
It is on my Patreon, actually. It's it shows up in 2 tiers. I have the main tier is where you'll actually find I Just Came From Hell, and that's the $2 tier. And that every 6 weeks, well, no, right now, because I dropped it to 1 page a week. Every 12 weeks, you'll get the full Trenchcoat Samurai chapter. If you do the next tier, $5, then you get I Just Came From Hell and a page of Trenchcoat Samurai every week.
I just put in the link, the Patreon in the chat, the link to the Patreon Trenchcoat Samurai. Let's say, Adam, that I am watching this show because I am just obsessed with Christian, and I don't know anything about comics, but I love Christian. I just can't keep mentioning that. And it's birthday. His birthday. I want to. What is Patreon?
Oh my God, I've never had to answer that. Patreon is it's a site you can go to. You will, I think for most people, I think it started off differently, but now it's most people, you have a monthly fee, and people will do different tiers, like I said, and you get exclusive access to their work. So right now, if you want to read either of these comics that I'm working on, the one with Frankie and mine, you have to pay a monthly fee, and $2 is not really that bad. And you're that way you're directly supporting an artist. You're getting exclusive content. I have other stuff. I'll put sketches up. I do a fair amount of not safe for work material that'll end up on there.
Folks, Adam's art is absurd. It's so good. And Patreon. So back in the day, if you were Michelangelo or Raphael or any of the other Ninja Turtles, and you were an incredible artist, there were rich people who appreciated art and had shit tons of money they didn't know what to do with. And they'd be like, we're going to pay you to keep making art. But we, in our modern, as Frankie said, puritanical society, have lost that focus on the importance of art to fucking society. And we need a site like this where you say, hey, listen, I'm going to keep throwing coins in your coffer because I want to keep seeing the shit that you're producing. And we're all working. We all got full-time jobs. We're not working for Marvel and waiting to get fired, as is happening right now. We're indie comic creators doing this because we fucking love it. And it would be really cool if we could quit all our other shit and just give you awesome stuff for a living. We've got Evan said, hold on there, asking for a friend. Male unit nudity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that shows up.
So yes, Evan, male nudity. Also, check out Christian's artwork on my link in the chat. Oh yeah, he put up my Ninja Turtle. Yeah. The only thing I can draw is Ninja Turtles. And nothing else. Nothing whatsoever. Remember, Claudio, taking over from Mark. Remember to hit like. All fucking show, I haven't said it. Remember to subscribe to Fugitive Poems channel. Hit like and ring my motherfucking bell. It's my birthday, and you only need to do it once. I'm pretty old now. Really, once is enough for like a fucking week, which is more than enough. 100% accurate. Guys, I pretend I said this at the beginning of the show. Subscribe to Fugitive Poems channel, like, hit notifications, ding my motherfucking bell, and go to Patreon. Look up Adam's work. So, I just came from hell, which could be the title of anyone's autobiography after a divorce. You talked about the fact that it's in production now. You guys are working on it now. All right, what's that all about? And when can I buy the finished product? Because I want it right now.
So TBD on when you can buy the finished product. So this is the importance of Patreon, is we're running it live basically through Patreon, and we update a page every week. So you get a brand new page every week. Or, you know, if you're cheap and you can't afford to pay $2 a month, you can pay $2, read a bunch of it all at once, and then cancel and then come back again in another month or two. You know, that's an option, but any money
if you want to really aggravate me.
Directly supports Adam, though, so any money is appreciated. But if you subscribe monthly, you can read as we go. And as of now, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're like 37 pages in or something like that.
Yeah, page 37 just went up on Tuesday.
So there's 37 pages already up. We update once a week and have a new page up. And right now, that's the only way to read it. It's you just subscribe to the Patreon, and we're going to keep making it. It won't be a finished book until we're done making it. So that's like the bare minimum. And right now, at the pace we're going, and I have an idea of how long it is, and I've told Adam I have an idea of how long it is. But like I said, these things can change, and I'm trying to keep it within reason. But you know, it's going to be running on his Patreon for a while. So please subscribe to his Patreon and read it as it's coming out. Talk with it. You know, like the post, comment if you have thoughts. Like, we want to hear people's feedback on it as we go.
Folks, look at this image that I just put up. It's astonishing and beautiful. I love this cover so much. Look at this. This is the cover for I Just Came From Hell. And hold on, let me get to the right page here. I'm trying to scroll and it won't let me. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's got Night of the Living Dead vibes on top of this beautiful image. And the title is I Just Came From Hell. It's so good. And then I got to point this out. This motherfucker, Adam, knows how to draw a deer. Look how beautiful that is. All I can hear when I look at this is Marissa Tomei talking about Bambi. Get shot in the fucking head. There you are, just drinking, and it blows your fucking head off. Look at this juxtaposition of the deer with the crocodile or the alligator. I can never remember the difference. Absolutely beautiful. And then look at this page. Look at her on the bottom. My Lord, this is stunning work, and it's coming out weekly, and you can get it. You could be reading this as it happens, and folks, you want to do this. It is so good. Christian has thoughts. That is true. I do. Like the nipples, don't tell YouTube. There were no nipples. There's nothing more offensive. There is nothing more upsetting than nipples. Oh my Lord!
Especially on a woman. Whoa!
Oh no, Jesus, no, God.
Male nipples. We're good with those.
Totally fine. So long as they're unnecessary and ineffectual, it's okay. If they actually give life, fuck you. Don't show them. Absolutely. Let's see. One you say later to, the other one you say after a while. Crocodile, alligator, or the other way around. I got it. Guys, this is great. I want to read I Just Came From Hell. I want to read it now, but holy crap, I don't know these other two because I've been in a cave and I just missed all the cool crap out in the universe. So you're like Christian, guide of my life, whose show I will like and subscribe to and ring the bell. What do? I put in the chat right now, eat my flesh, drink my blood. And you're like, okay, cool. I am totally getting that. What do I do after that? Well, I'm here for you. Let me tell you what you do after that. You go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon, but here's a link to Barnes & Noble, and you get Who Killed Sarah Shaw. And then you go over to Adam Markiewicz's Patreon, right? And you start reading I Just Came From Hell weekly. And then you buy, and then you get to be a hipster. When it comes out as a full collection, You tell your friends who you should buy this. I read it when it was cool. And then you look awesome. You look like the biggest badass in history. Evan says, well, Christian, it's your last 364 days as a quadragenarian. Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. I'm sure 50 is young and hip and with it as well.
50 is the new
Frankie,
30.
50. I love that we say that. And it's just like, oh, you'll feel better. It's great. And my favorite is age is just a number. And I'm like, motherfucker, you never been to the doctor. The doctor doesn't look at a 54-year-old and go, you're just like you're 24. Adam, what do we do with you next? Where we got trench coat, samurai. What do? We subscribe to Patreon. What else should we get from you?
Actually, Trenchcoat Samurai is also on Global Comics.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that. Where you can buy each chapter, if that is your custom.
Okay.
And that's kind of it. I have a couple things I've been working on for other people I can't really talk about.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
anything you can tease?
Uh,
Can you give me an exclusive here? Make me feel special on my birthday? Make me feel wanted?
nah.
No. All right, fair.
I'd love to, but you know.
He doesn't want to get sued off the face of the planet.
Fair. All right, you won't get sued for me.
I don't know if I get sued. I think I could just get fired. So.
I don't see much of a future in our relationship, Adam, if you won't get sued and fired from me. I just put in the chat Adam's Patreon, where you're going to get Trenchcoat Samurai, but you're also going to get I Just Came From Hell, which Mark pointed out, our senior editor, is also the name of his autobiography. No, it's not I Just Came From for you, Mark. I'm on my way. Does that make 30 the new 10? Evan wants to know.
Yes.
And age is just a number, Mark says, and the diagnosis. Frankie, what do we look out for from you?
Right now, all I'm focused on is doing I Just Came From Hell. So that's it. And then also still promoting Who Killed Sarah Shaw. We are the word is from Dauntless. We're supposed to be releasing that in comic book shops as single issues. So it won't be just as a graphic novel. You can pick it up in floppies if that's your purview, if you like reading single issues. So stay tuned for more details on that. The indie publishing process is a slow one, though. So I don't have firm dates on that yet, though.
Folks, so you should do that because floppies are cool. But look in the chat. You can order the whole fucking thing.
You can get the whole thing right now. There's no reason to wait.
Right.
And to be honest, I think it's better read as a graphic novel, not to step on my own potential sales in the future, but I would much rather you read it as one full book.
You sit down with a whodunit that's elevated beyond whodunit, and you go through the whole story. It's how I read it, and I was overwhelmed by it. Folks, Frankie White is one of my very favorite writers, and I'm an Alan Moore freak. Okay, I'm a Jeff Lemire freak, and when I think about Rick Remender, when I think about Frankie White, he's up there. The stories, he's doing shit on an entirely different level, and he's got Adam Markiewicz, who is bringing Adam. You're bringing visuals, you're bringing panel compositions that I would never have thought of to these projects. You're adding so much to the character, and even within your werewolf transformation that you went through tonight with Meatloaf dribbling out of your jowls, you have done unbelievable shit. And every time I see that it's Frankie and Adam together, I'm like, well, I have money, but what for? I should give it to them. And there and back again from hell. Mark suggested as a title. Take it all, yes. And we've got hold on. Frankie Adams, so good to see, hear, and listen to you. Absolutely. Guys, this was, I cut off my time, Sabine, I'm sorry, with my family to be on with you because holy shit, to get to be with Frankie and Adam was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Art Will Not Be Changing. You need to go and order Eat My Flesh, Drink My Blood. You need to order Who Killed Sarah Shaw. You need to go back and get 20 Fists wherever you can. I should probably say that differently, but I'm not going to. All right. If you can get 20 Fists, you fucking take it. All right. And you want to be on Patreon, Adam Markiewicz's Patreon, and start reading I Just Came From Hell. Gentlemen, it has been an absolute fucking pleasure. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on. And
Great.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. This is the best present I could possibly ask for. Folks, I am Christian De Matteo. I don't know if you know that. This is The Art Will Not Be Changing. I don't know if you know that. Like, subscribe, ding the motherfucking Liberty Bell, whatever it takes. Send me photographs of your soul so I can own them. Get involved with Fugitive Poems as much as humanly possible. Give everything you have to the cause. Get on Patreon for Adam Markiewicz. Read everything Frankie White writes. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night. We are Fugitive Poems, and we make comics.